I am, I have to first introduce myself. I did neuro-linguistic programming and also hypnosis. And with Marissa Peer in the UK, I'm not a clinical hypnotist, but I do some kind of, actually, yes, getting people to use their potential. That is sometimes locked in their subconscious. So today, I'm not going to carry on too much about me because it's all on my website, and Amanda was brilliant the way she advertised. I didn't, so sorry, natashasakota.com, and you can find me there. So today I would like to actually do a bit more practical issues with what we do and what we can do with hypnosis. And so, Obehi, I'm actually going to mention, before I put on the slides, that in business and to lead people, okay, to lead, in a way, one has to become, I know this word can be a bit, weird, but a seducer. Okay, somebody who actually gets people. I know, but the more it's like that, the more it sits in the brain. The subconscious loves exciting words. Okay, and so if we try to force people and coerce people to do things, especially also in business, in time, this will work against you. Okay. In business with toxic bosses who are actually in that mindset that I know everything, you don't know anything, and that's it. Parents that are also very strict and very hard on their children, basically in all kinds of relationships, okay? But if you are able to step into the world of another person, it's so much easier to break their resistance, okay? To be able to learn what makes them tick. And so in order to do this, what we need to do is really understand their psychology. And many people in business, many leaders, many managers, they all say, I don't have time. I don't have time. Everything's going too quickly. I cannot meet everybody. I cannot do one-on-ones. I can do them once a year, twice a year they do it. And I believe a one-on-one should be done at least once a week. But if the company is very big, I can understand once a month. But why? Because we want to really know their desires. We want to know their fears, their values, what is important to that person. And so to know this, you've got to speak to the person. You've got to be able to, let them open up. And the more you do this, the more you can influence them and move them to the direction that you want. And I'll also add that this takes a lot of energy. Yes, as I said, it takes energy and a lot of creativity. And in fact, it's interesting, some very great leaders, like even Napoleon had Goethe, can you imagine? I was quite surprised, who would write things for him to say in a way that captured the hearts and the minds of the people, using what we're going to discuss today, which are embedded suggestions, embedded commands, where the person doesn't really realize that he's giving this command or this suggestion. And it wasn't only Napoleon, Frederick the Great had Voltaire as his writer of stories. And many great leaders, Martin Luther King, they used all these embedded suggestions to motivate their people. Winston Churchill, Roosevelt, you can carry on forever. And we use it unconsciously. We don't know that we're using it, but also we do in our everyday conversation. So I thought it was interesting to try and to be aware that this is a tool. Okay, and this tool, I'm going to show you with what is a definition of embedded suggestion just now. But we have to use this tool to speak to the self-interest of people. To motivate people, you've got to tell them, look, whatever I'm asking you to do, it's going to benefit you. It's their self-interest. So this is a point that I think many leaders just don't do, because they do their own interests and not those of their team. Okay. So to show you all of this, I'm going to just maybe describe a second, or let me just show you what an embedded command and suggestion is. Anyway, I hope you can all see. Okay, so an embedded suggestion or command is a declarative phrase telling you what to do or think, but it's hidden within the other parts of the text, okay, in that sentence. Now, it's important to understand that the conscious mind is often stuck. It's stuck in its ways, in its habits, in its belief. It's very difficult to instill change, as Amanda explained, if we just use the logical conscious mind. And so what we do by using these embedded suggestions and commands, we can bypass the conscious mind, with these suggestions that influence the subconscious mind. And it's there in the subconscious is where it's the seat of our beliefs and our behaviors. So any message that gets into the subconscious is very, very powerful. And this helps you to influence and motivate people. Okay, and so this is why it's hypnosis. As Amanda said, it's natural. It happens. Okay, and we can do it in such a way that it just sinks in and it goes into the subconscious, and therefore you are more likely to have the person follow your, what you would like, your intention, your command or suggestion as well. So that is an embedded suggestion. And just for some theory, it's been around for a very long time, but Richard Bandler actually patented the embedded suggestion as part of the Milton model in NLP. Okay, and Milton is Milton Erickson, who was known as the father of modern hypnosis. He was a family therapist, a psychotherapist. He was just brilliant. And he was the first to make hypnosis a conversation, actually. He wouldn't put the person in hypnosis, but the way he spoke and the suggestions he gave, they went into it naturally, okay? And that's where conversational hypnosis also arose through Milton Erickson. So now I actually have a story for you, because I believe that in order to influence and lead people, we need to add both the story and the suggestion, okay? So just for an example, maybe I'll just stop share for a second, because, okay, just so that you see me, because I'm going to be stop share. Did I stop share? No, yes, yes. I did. Okay, so am I back here? Oh, no, I have to put on the webcam. Okay, there I am. So, sorry. So let's take an example, a practical example of being at work. Let's say I have a company and this young chap, Alex, who's only 25, comes and he's going to be one of our salespeople. Now, Alex is so enthusiastic, but I start to get to know him. And he continues to say, I can't wait to close so many deals. I want to just increase the number of people that we sell to, And I start to speak to him every day, and he keeps mentioning numbers. Yes, I'm going to do this and sell and sell and sell. And I start to realize that something is missing. Never once did Alex mention, I hope my customer will be satisfied. I hope he will be happy with my service and what I've sold to him. And he never mentioned it. So I thought, okay, so here is a message I would like to transfer to Alex, especially because he's young and he's learning. But if I went to Alex and said, Alex, but you haven't taken into account customer loyalty or customer satisfaction, he could say, oh, yeah, you know, well, he could first put up a resistance and not take it in. Or he could just say, okay, yes, I'll do it. Don't worry. But maybe it doesn't really sink in. So to avoid this, with the story, and it doesn't have to be a long story. As I said, to lead people and motivate requires energy and creativity. So you have to sometimes think, what story am I going to tell Alex? And the story I'm going to tell him is actually one I made up because I didn't have, I just made it up. But that's fine. The fact is that the words around the suggestion will allow him to focus on, he will focus on the words that is going to be around the suggestion, and the suggestion will sink into the unconscious without him even realizing it. So the story goes, okay, Alex, you know, the most remarkable salesperson I've ever met was Jake. And he had an incredible knack for connecting with clients on a deep personal level. And whenever he interacted with them, you could see his genuine warmth and his smile and his sincere tone. He had an extraordinary ability to empathize with his clients, okay? And he listened to their needs and to their concerns, and he truly understood them, okay? And so he also started to feel dissatisfaction. And it was important that he didn't just close the deal. It was about making a positive impact on their lives. And the clients felt this. And they felt it so much that they had so much trust in him, and it was unwavering. And also in the brand that he represented. And so they repeatedly came back to buy. Okay, that's a story, but I haven't finished. Now let's say I'm going to I'll continue by sharing. And now I say to him, to Alex, I continue, share, and I say, so Alex, and as you visualize your interactions with clients, notice how you channel the spirit of Jake. Let the warmth of your smile, the sincerity of your tone, and the empathy in your heart guide you. Imagine the ripple effect of delight spreading through your clients as you exceed their expectations time and time again. And I wonder if you realize how you make every decision with the utmost dedication to client satisfaction, ensuring that those we serve are always left feeling happy and fulfilled. And just notice how they return repeatedly, happy to buy more, and you easily meet your sales target. Okay, that's the story. So you see, the part that is highlighted in black are these suggestions. You know, channel the spirit, be warm, have a sincere tone, have empathy, and you will exceed your expectations. And you make the right decision in order to improve client satisfaction, and they return to buy more and meet your sales target. So these are all embedded suggestions, okay? And also commands, depends how you want to see it. Okay, I hope that was clear for you. Yes, if anybody wants to just say something, if they don't understand, you're welcome, because if we do it at the end, maybe you'll miss it. But this is basically how you can put embedded suggestion with a story to influence and motivate the person to do an action that you want them to do, but that will also benefit them. Okay? Now, let me go to the next slide. So, I love drama, as you must hear. I love to put a lot of, as if I'm acting on a stage. But I must say that with hypnosis, it is important when you speak, and this was done by Milton Erickson, to introduce a change of tone when you are giving the suggestion, embedded suggestion or command. And this is called analog marking, okay? You can subtly mark out that suggestion. And I did it a little bit with a change of tone, and I also pause before each suggestion. And you didn't see me because with Teams you can't see the person, but sometimes you can also look at them with a significant look as you're saying it, or use a gesture, emphasize a gesture with that suggestion. And if you have, as Amanda also stated, a great rapport, and that's why you've got to know who you are speaking to, know what's important, know their fears, know them, okay? You can even touch them. And the touch is incredible because it's like an anchor, it like fixes it in. So these are all things that Milton Erickson used when he was speaking with his clients. So that's analog marking. I hope that's all clear for you. And let's just talk a bit further about intonation, okay, the tone of voice. Why this is important is because we have 3 tones, okay, regarding the subject, okay. You can talk with a question, a tone that is a question, okay, and this is usually an upward inflection. So you understand this? Okay, my tone goes up. That's a question. A statement, just a fact. You understand this? But a command is going down at the end of the sentence. Do you understand this? Okay, I do go slowly to emphasize to you. But the last one is one of the most important and powerful ways to influence using embedded command and dropping your tone. I would like you to think and imagine that you're going down the stairs when you give a command. Okay, and this is the best way, because upward inflection, or sometimes it's called the rising terminal. I found that many of my clients, especially the young leaders, and in the UK and the US, they are not so self-assured. And so they finish their sentences with an upward tone. Okay, like, do you agree? Or no, this is how it should be. And it's upward. And that shows that they are not so confident. But if they could drop that and think that they're going down the stairs, okay, it should be like this. It sounds much more confident and self-assured. So the tone of voice is extremely important. Also when you are presenting, when you're doing public speaking, when you present and end with an upward inflection, it doesn't give the oomph to what you're saying. But if you finish with a downward command, well, then it does, okay? I'm doing it a bit with my voice so that you guys can see and hear it. So these are the arrows, and okay, there's some examples. Here, I'm giving, like, let's say you have somebody who feels not too well at work, and here you want to suggest to them, please get better. You can even say things like, look, I don't know how soon you'll begin to feel better. Do you see I go down? I'm suggesting that they are going to get better quite soon. I want them to feel better. Okay. And here in the second one, perhaps you're a salesperson and you tell the person, well, when you're ready to go ahead, perhaps you can give me a call, go down, but not perhaps you can give me a call. I mean, that sounds, it's a question, kind of, and well, I'm not sure, maybe you can, maybe you can't. But if I say, perhaps you can give me a call. That sounds firm. Okay, that's an embedded suggestion and goes through the conscious into the subconscious. And another example, what factors tell you when it's time to buy? In other words, I'm telling you, buy now, okay? It's a command, but I got to drop my voice, okay? And so this is the power of this tool. Now, let's go on to questions, because I have been doing questions. Actually, a lot of it is on questions and using the format of asking a question. And in the English language, we have two ways, okay? One is the rising tone, rising intonation. Yes, yes, just the rising tone. The other is the syntax or the word order. And so here it's when you put in front of the sentence, would you like, or are you ready, or can you do this, or whatever you put in front, okay? That also suggests that it is a question, okay? And actually, this is what we're going to show you in the rising, okay, the syntax is that. If I go on to, well, let me take you back here just so that you re-see the diagram. Remember the diagram. So questions with a question mark at the end, many people raise their tone, okay? They end with an upward tone. What we want to do is ask a question with a downward tone, okay? Because here it is, using question syntax with a command tonality is a powerful way to influence people. Consciously, the word order tells them they are hearing a question, but their unconscious mind is picking up on the command. So it's a bit of a repetition of the first, but there we go. So actually take off the question mark. They over here, would you like to include the optional extras? I said it now as if it were a question because I went up with the tone. But if I want to say it as a command, I have to say, would you like to include the optional extras? Are you ready to try this out? So I'm going down the stairs. And it's a bit tougher maybe, but it gets the message across. So it's an extremely powerful way to move people into what you would like them to do. Okay, so C is the command, and remember this fantastic diagram. If you remember this diagram, you'll never go wrong, especially the stairs. You'll never go wrong. Just go down the stairs with your tone. Okay. And finally, let's just look at, sorry. This is not so easy with this. Here we go. Another way that commands are embedded is within quotes. When you are telling what somebody else said to you, this is great. Because the conscious mind thinks it's just hearing a story, you see, while the unconscious mind takes it as a direct instruction. And so here is an example. And then my friend said to his coworker, you can take me to lunch today. Command embedded is take me to lunch today. Okay. So even in quotes, use quotes, make them up. No one will know. Use stories, make them up, you know. Now, buy, now we know advertisers. They use so many embedded suggestions and commands every single day. Buy, now. Okay, I want you to do it right now. Second, we also use it every day, as I said, with our friends and our family. And hey, Joe, I know you want to help me move tomorrow. It's like, please help me. You know, I know you want to help me move. That's embedded tomorrow. And then the final one, it's also used in seduction. Yes. In a lot of courses, they do teach you this embedded suggestion and command for relationships. And for example, you're at a party and you say to a beautiful girl or a handsome man, you, like me, think this is a great party, don't you? And the command is, you like me, actually. You like me. Okay? Influencing them in a way that they like you, and they hear that suggestion that zips into the unconscious. And then I have Nelson Mandela. It's just another story to show you that he used it, but I won't go into it. That's all I wanted to. I don't know how much time.
Natasha, you did talk of embedded suggestion, and I think that is something that somebody want to understand more. What are the advantages? Okay, because we are talking of business now. In a business environment, what are the advantages of embedded suggestion?
Okay, so the advantage is that perhaps the person, if they don't know you well, okay, they may put up a resistance to whatever you ask them, okay? However, if you embed a suggestion within a story, okay, hopefully, that's why I mentioned at the beginning, it's also nice to get to know people beforehand, okay? But if you put a story in, like Amanda, she was explaining now, and she used the word before reset. She paused and she said reset. So that kind of goes into my unconscious. It doesn't pass through the logical mind, but it just sinks in, even though there were a whole lot of other words. So the advantage of an embedded suggestion is to move the person to do the action you would like them to do. Okay, but without telling them directly, without making it a direct instruction. This is how hypnotic language works, you know. So even Milton Erickson, in his a lot of his therapy, would just suggest things that maybe had nothing to do with the situation, but the solution to what he suggested, okay, was the solution to the problem that was there, but it was through a story and through this embedded suggestion in another way. So in business, you can do the same thing. It is used in business, in communication. I wonder if, or like I could also say today, and as you listen to my voice, everything will be clearly understood. And you will go home and practice embedded. Now, practice embedded suggestions, that's a command direct. But before, you know, everything will be understood is a suggestion. I'm telling you, you will understand.
That's very interesting. And that can be really very good when you are in business and you want to make sure that your message is actually what the people pay attention to. Of course, they understand what you want to tell them and take action at the end of the day. And even if you were a teacher, I think these are some of the things that teachers should be using. I'm just imagining that, looking at how you explain it.
Yes, teachers, parents, everybody. Maybe the boy is not, or the girl, usually my boy doesn't pick up his clothes. You will suggest in a nice way instead of getting angry and, oh, you never clean your room. You know, you can find a way in this embedded, yes, influencing. It's influencing in a way that enters the subconscious, which is more powerful.
All right. Thank you for that. And you said something more that I think is really important. I will need a clarification from. And it's, I think you said something like bypassing the subconscious. Could you tell me what are the instruments you will use to bypass it? You want to bypass the subconscious of an individual. Do you use some instrument to do that? What would that be?
Through this, in a way, suggestion. You suggest with stories, with words. So with regard to what I did today, there are many other ways that Amanda also uses in her hypnotherapy that I use when I do with clients. But to bypass is, you know, how can I say? It's like if you have the horse and the rider, okay? The unconscious is the horse, but the horse is all over the place. It's like moving here, moving there. So if I try with logic, I'm only getting in the message through to the conscious part, to the, you know, the mind that is consciously seeing where he's going. Or for instance, now a better explanation, you do it through suggestion, but first it's good to use analog marking, change your tone, pause. These are certain things. In hypnosis, we also use techniques where we put the person in hypnosis, lift up the eyes, or there's many ways, but I use put up your eyelids, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out 3 times. They go into a relaxed state, and already slowly they are alert and relaxed, but now we are bypassing their conscious because we've gotten rid of all distractions. So in a way, with an embedded suggestion, it's the distraction, we could say, are the words around the suggestion. And so the instruction is embedded in there, and it's telling you, go and do it, even if I'm not telling your logical mind directly. So I'm bypassing that through this sentence construction.
And this again can be very effective in business communication. I can imagine.
They use it a lot, and we don't realize it. It's also hard. I don't realize it, but they do. They influence and persuade a lot. Actually, there's even a quote. I'll quote this thing that was said by, let's use Winston Churchill. He was having a speech, and he said, I would say to the House, as I said to those who have joined this government, I have nothing to offer but blood, toil, tears, and sweat. That's an embedded suggestion. In other words, we've got to get our act together. We've got to, work. And then we have before us an ordeal of the most grievous kind. And we have before us many, many long months of struggle and of suffering. But he subtly implants the idea that difficult times lie ahead, but through perseverance and sacrifice, we will overcome it. He's suggesting that. Do you see?
Absolutely. Now, somebody might be wondering, what is actually the best way to use hypnosis in business? Or what is the profitability of hypnosis in business? What would you say?
Okay, I loved actually what Zen said. It is all about you speaking to yourself and giving yourself those suggestions that serve you. And so often I like to think of hypnosis as getting into the zone, focusing. If you are able to focus and center yourself and really see the person, as Zen also said, being present, you can get so much input also by the nonverbal of the other person, what is happening, becoming empathetic. And so hypnosis, it's there, it's a focus, it's getting into the zone, if you like, so I'm going to put all my effort today and understand what is going on and see what I can give, what is required. But that is basically how I would look at it in business. And at the same time, help others to get into their zone, to get into that zone. Even sports people use that hypnosis to get into that zone of focus and to really be able to influence and help. When we talk about influence, I don't mean in a bad way. Sometimes it's misinterpreted. We don't want to make people do things they don't want to do. Never. It's always ethical and, just suggesting to get them to do things that will be beneficial. So getting into the zone and focus and channel. And so, yes, this is also a power, the leader could even stand like this as he said Zen and do this while he's talking. It's a power position. He becomes present, he gets into the zone and is able to go forward.
Almost instantaneously.